So our cluster is ready, kubectl get nodes. Okay, now to test whether it's working properly or not, let's run one of the imperative commands. Okay, so let's go to our one of the previous exercises. uh, so exercise number 2, and in from that just copy this deployment. Okay, and we'll just create the deployment, and just to kubectl get all, and it will start creating 2 containers. Okay, so when it is running, it's confirmed that our cluster is installed properly, it's configured properly, and we can go ahead with other steps. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll do the next exercise, that is, so the number, I'll have to change this number, but this is installing metallb. Okay, so when we did it in the micro creators, how we did, we just enabled the micro creators add-on, that is ingress. Okay, and metallb. In this case, what we will do is I got this installation details from this website. So which one it is, the metallb. So it has all the instructions how to install metallb. So here also we are downloading some config files, right? This one, this config file we are downloading and just installing it. So rather than downloading, we are on the fly applying it. Okay, so at the back end it will download and install it. The same commands I'm using here. So let's start the installation for metallb. So for testing, what I'll do is just wget it and remove this kubectl apply -f. One of the method will be just download it. Okay, and just check it, metallb.yml. So it has various things here. Okay, uh, these are the, it's a very long file and it has all the instructions to install metallb. Okay, so what I can do is kubectl apply -f. Okay, and the metallb native. Okay, but rather than that, I'll just follow the instructions. We don't really need to download it, we can directly apply it if we have the internet connection. Okay, so now it will install metallb on our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, now just do kubectl get namespace. When we install metallb, it will create a namespace called metallb-system. Just go inside it and check what are the pods which are getting started. Okay, so it is also creating some pods which are required to run the metallb service. So kubectl get all, till then we'll see if our nginx is created or not. So the nginx is also running. I'll just delete it so that there is some less load on the server. Okay, so we don't have anything now, no deployment, no service, but kubectl get namespace, kubectl -n metallb get all. Okay, so let's wait for some time. Okay, so the metal lb is ready, so we need to wait some time, otherwise the next commands will give error. Okay, so when we see that all the pods are running properly, then we'll test it whether we are getting properly the metal lb, the load balancer service getting created or not properly. So for that, now last time when we installed on micro K8s, we gave a range while enabling the service itself or add-on itself, but here we'll have to define some address pool using YML file. Okay, so this is the YML file which has the IP address pool details, and all these details I got it from the metal lb sites only. Okay, so in future the steps may change, they may call this IP address pool something else as well. Okay, so always refer the latest documentation for any service which you are using. So here again I'm using 131 to 135. Okay, and just apply it, kubectl apply -f address pool. And we can also check it in metal lb namespace whether it's created or not. Okay, so it's saying that it will be using the IP address range 131 to 135, and the name of the pool is first pool. Now let's create some metal lb, create some deployment and services. Okay, and in this case the all three services we are creating, so it will test the full cluster properly. And for that also I've used the imperative commands and using a script. Okay, that will save the time. Deploy.sh, enter. So script means we are just running the sequence of commands. Okay, bash deploy.sh. So what we are doing here is creating an httpd deployment using httpd image. Okay, inside the container it's running on port 80. Then we are exposing it as a cluster IP, node port, and even as a load balancer. So just do bash deploy.sh and it will start creating the deployment and the service IPs. Just do kubectl get all. Okay, so it's creating the container. Let's wait for it. Okay, so the container is running. Let's test everything. Curl on cluster IP, it will work. Okay, it will work on all the cluster IPs. Okay, on top of those cluster IPs we have the node port and the load balancers and all. Okay, so for accessing this node port, again we'll have to use the IP address of the server, curl 192.168.1.21, the node port. Okay, and let's check if it's working on 22 as well. Okay, so if you see on all the node ports it has opened the port, that's why it's called as node port. And for load balancer we have the load balancer IP. Suppose if it is a cloud, in cloud also you will just have, we don't need to install metal lb, we just need to define the service like this, this command, using this command, and it will automatically give you a load balancer public IP here, and just call it and you'll be able to access it. So this 131 can be accessible from outside as well, because my laptop is also in the same 192.168 range, 1 dot range, 192.168 1 dot range, and it should work. Okay, it should work actually, but don't know. Let's check from the other node. Okay, so it's working from the other node. Don't know why it's not showing here. Okay, we will check that later. Okay, but this is how we do the metallb installation. Now quickly I'll also show the ingress installation. Just few lines of we'll have to run.